Previously on Virtual Teen Classic Graphic Novel Reading.
Greetings, Teen Soul fans. It's Chapping the Cap, Mr. Tony. Continuing on with our reading of the classic graphic novel, true story, of course, of Mouse. Second volume. Don't know if this is going to show up. It doesn't look like it. Oh, there's bits and pieces of it. Second volume. And we're going to pick up where we left off. Last time we were together, we were in chapter 1. We finished chapter 1, and now we're going to continue with chapter 2. And let me go ahead and bring that up now with the screen share. And here we go here. All right. So, as you can see, chapter 2, Auschwitz, time flies. So let's go ahead and get started. Remember, very important to remember, the story taking place in two different places. We have the story going on in Regal Park, and we have the story going on in Auschwitz. We switch back and forth depending on where the story is happening, because really it's a father and son story where the father is telling the son about the horrors of prison camp during Second World War. All right, let's get started. Chapter 2, Auschwitz. Time flies. Well, as you can see, this is the artist here. He's depicting himself because he's having a kind of a hard time with how to tell the story, in graphic form. So we'll join him now in some of the trials that he endured in order to tell the story. So let's go. All right. Vladek, remember, Vladek is his father. He died of congestive heart failure on August 18th, 1982. Francois and I stayed with him in the Catskills back in August of 1979. Vladek started working as a tin man in Auschwitz in the spring of 1944. I started working on this page at the very end of February 1987. So he's giving you the background on how he's getting this story put together and told and the horrors of the story itself. So it's a real challenge. Okay, so in May 1987, Francois and I are expecting a baby. Between May 16th and 1944, May 16th, 1944 and May 24th, 1944, talking about 8 days, over 100,000 Hungarian Jews were gassed in Auschwitz. In September 1986, after 8 years of work, the first part of Mouse was published. It was a critical and commercial success. At least 15 foreign editions are coming out. I've gotten 4 serious offers to turn my book into a TV special or a movie. I don't wanna. In May 1968, my mother killed herself. She left no note. Lately, I've been feeling depressed. All right, Mr. Spiegelman, we're ready to shoot. Tell our viewers the message you want them to get from your book. Message? I don't know. I never thought of reducing it to a message. I mean, I wasn't trying to convince anybody of anything. I just wanted, your book is being translated into German. Many younger Germans have had it up to here with Holocaust stories. These things happened before they were even born. Why should they feel guilty? Who am I to say? But a lot of the corporations that flourished in Nazi Germany are richer than ever. I don't know. Maybe everyone has to feel guilty. Everyone, forever. Okay, let's talk about Israel. If your book was about Israeli Jews, what kind of animal would you draw? I have no idea. Porcupines? Excuse me? Artie, baby, check out this licensing deal. You get 50% of the profits. We'll make $1 million. Your dad would be proud. Huh? Mouse, you've read the book. Now buy the vest. So what do you want, a bigger percentage? Hey, we can talk. I want absolution. No. I want my mommy. Could you tell our audience if drawing Mouse was cathartic? Do you feel better now? Phew, they're gone. Sometimes I just don't feel like a functioning adult. I can't believe I'm going to be a father in a couple of months. My father's ghost still hangs over me. Nadja Muli Spiegelman, born May 13th, 1987. It's 9:30 p.m. already. I've got to head uptown for my appointment with Pavel. Pavel is my shrink. He sees patients at night. He's a Czech Jew, a survivor of Terezin and Auschwitz. I see him once a week. His place is overrun with stray dogs and cats. Hi, Art, come on in. Can I mention this, or does it completely louse up my metaphor? Because of the dogs and cats? Yeah, funny. Artie's funny. So, how are you feeling? Completely messed up. I mean, things couldn't be going better with my career or at home, but mostly I feel like crying. I can't work. My time is being sucked up by interviews and business propositions I can't deal with. But even when I'm feeling alone, I'm totally blocked. Instead of working on my book, I just lie on my couch for hours and stare at a small grease spot on the upholstery. Framed photo of pet cat, really. Somehow, my arguments with my father have lost a little of their urgency, and Auschwitz just seems too scary to think about. So I just lie there. Sounds like you're feeling remorse. Maybe you believe you exposed your father to ridicule. Maybe, but I tried to be fair and still show how angry I felt. Even so, every boy, when he's little, looks up to his father. That sounds true, but it's hard for me to remember. Mainly, I remember arguing with him and being told that I couldn't do anything as well as he could. And now that you're becoming successful, you feel bad about proving your father wrong. No matter what I accomplish, it doesn't seem like much compared to surviving Auschwitz. But you weren't in Auschwitz. You were in Regal Park. Maybe your father needed to show that he was always right, that he could always survive because he felt guilty about surviving. Maybe. And he took his guilt out on you, where it was safe, on the real survivor. Tell me, do you feel any guilt about surviving the camps? No, just sadness. So, do you admire your father for surviving? Well, sure. I know there was a lot of luck involved, but he was amazingly present-minded and resourceful. Then you think it's admirable to survive. Does that mean it's not admirable to not survive? Whoosh. I think I see what you mean. It's as if life equals winning, so death equals losing. Yes, life always takes the side of life, and somehow the victims are blamed. But it wasn't the best people who survived, nor did the best ones die. It was random. I'm not talking about your book now. But look at how many books have already been written about the Holocaust. What's the point? People haven't changed. Maybe they need a newer, bigger Holocaust. Anyway, the victims who died can never tell their side of the story, so maybe it's better not to have any more stories. Samuel Beckett once said, "Every word is like an unnecessary stain on silence and nothingness." Yes. On the other hand, he said it. He was right. Maybe you can include it in your book. My book? Ha! What book? Some part of me doesn't want to draw or think about Auschwitz. I can't visualize it clearly, and I can't begin to imagine what it felt like. What Auschwitz felt like? How can I explain? Boo! Ee! It felt a little like that, but always, from the moment you get to the gate until the very end. So what part of your book are you trying to visualize? My father worked in a tin shop near the camp. I have no idea what kind of tools and stuff to draw. There's no documentation. Let's see. There would be a cutter like a giant paper cutter and maybe an electric drill press or two. How do you know that? Oh, I worked in a tool and die shop in Czechoslovakia when I was a kid. But it's getting late now, and I still have to walk the dogs. Okay, I'll see you in a week. Gee, I don't understand exactly why, but these sessions with Pavel somehow make me feel better. Maybe I could show the tin shop and not draw the drill press and not draw the drill press. I hate to draw machinery. And so then when I came out from the hospital, right away she started again. See, he just turned on his little tape recorder machine. Right away she started again. That I change my will. Please, Pop, the tape's on. Let's continue. I was still so sick and tired, and to have peace only, I agreed to make it legal. She brought right to my bed a notary. Let's get back to Auschwitz. $15 he charged to come. If she waited only a week until I was stronger, I'd go to the bank and take a notary for only a quarter. Enough! Tell me about Auschwitz. You were telling me how your capo tried to get you to work as a tinsmith. Yeah, every day I worked there, right outside from the camp. The chief of the tinmen, it was a Russian Jew named Yiddle. Bah, you're no tinsmith. You can't even cut it right. But this is how I've always done it. I've only been a tinsmith for a few years, but if you show me how you want it cut, I can learn quickly. Heh. You never did an honest day's work in your whole life, Spiegelman. I know all about you. You owned big factories and exploited your workers, you dirty capitalist. He was a communist, this Yiddle. They send dreck like you here while they send real tin men up the chimney. Watch out. I've got my eye on you. I was afraid he could really do me something. Oh, yeah. You didn't know where they heard stories about him. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. With the other boys there, I got along fine. In the tin shop, that is. Don't worry. You just have to know how to handle Yiddle. Bring him a few eggs, some butter or cheese. You'll see. He'll sing a different tune. Ha! Where do you get all this food? Just keep your eyes open. You can organize things with Poles here. Poles from nearby they hired to work also here. Not prisoners, but specialist building workers. Shh. I can get you a fine gold watch for a pound of sausage and 6 eggs. Agreed. They had nothing, only food from their farms. They were happy to make exchanges. The head guy from the Auschwitz laundry was a fine fellow that knew well my family before the war. From him, I got civilian clothes to smuggle out below my uniform. I was so thin, the guards didn't see if I wore extra. Hey, Yiddle, I've got a big piece of cheese for you. A gift? Very nice, Spiegelman. And what else do you have there? A loaf of bread? You're a rich man. Wait, I need that to pay off the guy who helped me organize the cheese. Ugh, he was so greedy, Yiddle. He wanted I risk only for him everything. I too had to eat. Everyone was so hungry, always. We didn't know even what we were doing. In the morning for breakfast, we got only a bitter drink from roots, made from roots. I woke up before everybody to have time to the toilet and find still some tea left. One time a day they gave a soup from turnips to stand near. Okay, one time a day they gave a soup from turnips to stand near the first of the line was no good. You got only water. Mix it, mix it. Near the end was better. Solid things to the bottom floated. But too far to the end was also no good, because many times it could be no soup anymore. And one time each day, they gave us a small bread, crunchy like glass. The flour they mixed with sawdust together. We got one little brick of this, what had to last the full day. Most gobbled it right away, but always I saved a half for later. And in the evening, we got a spoiled cheese or jam. If we were lucky, a couple times a week, we got a sausage big like two of my fingers. Only this much we got. If you ate how they gave you, it was just enough to die more slowly. Each morning and evening, they made an appel. They counted the live ones and dead ones to see if it wasn't any missing. We stood sometimes a whole night while they counted again and again. On our appels, it was one old guy there. Always he was complaining. I don't belong here with all these Yids and Polacks. I'm a German like you. I have medals from the Kaiser. My son is a German soldier. Only they hit him. They laughed. Was he really a German? Who knows? It was German prisoners also. But for the Germans, this guy was Jewish. On one appel, he didn't stand so straight, and the guard dragged him away. I heard he pushed him down and jumped hard on his neck. Or they sent him to the gas. I don't remember. But they finished him, and he never anymore complained. Tell me about Mom. Were you in touch with her in Auschwitz? Yeah. In the beginning, I knew only her number and that she was there in Birkenau. This I found out by workers from Birkenau, what passed where I was teaching English. Where was Birkenau? The camp was a part of Auschwitz. Yeah, I'm going to take this away to magnifying so you can see the setup here. You can see the workshops, and there's Auschwitz over here. On the lower part, you got workshops and camp extension, and you got the main part of Auschwitz. Auschwitz II, they called Birkenau. We're back to the story here. It was maybe 2 miles to go from Auschwitz to Birkenau. There it was much more big. In Auschwitz, we had, say, 20,000 prisoners, and Birkenau was at least 5 times so many. Auschwitz, it was a camp where they gave you to work so they didn't finish you so fast. Birkenau was even more bad. It was 800 people in a building made for 50 horses. There, it was just a death place with Jews waiting for gas. And there, it was Anya. Remember, Anya was his wife. Come, it's time now. We'll hurry for lunch home to the bungalow. So you were actually in touch with Anya in Birkenau? Yeah, from Mancy, I had a real contact with Mother until later I could bring Anya to. Wait, who's Mancy? She was a Hungarian Mancy who worked sometimes there. Beautiful, a tall blonde girl, and clever. Rest behind that stack of wood. I'll warn you if a guard comes close. Nothing for me, but I'm afraid for my wife in Birkenau. Can you find out if she's still alive? I told her Anya's name and number. Oh, wait. So this Mancy, she had a lover. I heard later, an SS man. He got for her a good position over 10 or 12 other girls from Birkenau. I've saved some food. I can pay for your help. Keep your food. We'll be working here again in a few days. I'll see what I can find out. Each day I looked. 4 days later, I saw her. I met a woman named Anya from Sosnovic. She's very frail. She spoke over to one of her workers. I spoke only to my tin, so nobody will notice. Somebody told her that her husband is still alive, and she started sobbing with joy. I heard this, and I started also crying a little. And Nancy, she too started crying. A few days after, Nancy again came there. I put some garbage under a rock near the doorway. She brought to me a letter, a real letter from Anya. I miss you, she wrote to me. Each day I think to run into the electric wires and finish everything. But to know you are alive, it gives me still to hope. She told me her capo was very mean on her and gave work Anya really couldn't do, like to run from the kitchen with the big cans of soup. Even for me, such cans were heavy, and for Anya, she was so small it was impossible. She couldn't hold well her end. Always she spilled. The capo beat Anya very hard, but kept her to this job. And if Anya spilled over all the soup, then nobody got what to eat, especially Anya. I wrote to her, I think of you always, and sent with Nancy 2 pieces of bread. If the SS could see she is taking food into the camp, right away they will kill her. But always she took. So she said, if a couple is loving each other so much, I must help however I can. Each day I marched to work and hoped again I'll see Nancy. she could have more news of Anya. I just read about the camp orchestra that played as you marched out the gate. An orchestra? No, I remember only marching, not any orchestras. From the gate guard. From the gate, guards took us over to the workshop. How could it be there an orchestra? I don't know, but it's very well documented. No, at the gate I heard only guards shouting. Did you ever talk with any of the guards? We were below their dignity. We were not even men. But it was one guy. If he spoke, of course I answered. He had even a little heart. Guten Morgen. This spring air reminds me of home, of Nuremberg. Yes, I was there once. It's a beautiful city. And if he liked me, maybe someday he won't shoot me. One time, he was missing a few days. You look pale. Were you sick, Herr Soldat? No, I was working in Birkenau. Yes, I've heard about what goes on there. Shut up! And he was afraid any more to speak. When I visited to Anya there, I saw with my own eyes how it was. You saw Anya? Yeah, every few days it came, an SS commission to the tin shop. You have more workers than you need here. Give us 10 prisoners to take back to the main camp for other work. Well, take that one and that one. And wait, don't take him. He's one of my best roofers. Take that one and that one. The unlucky ones went over for bad jobs. But me, Yiddle kept protected. Send a crew to the sector B1 in Birkenau. Some of the roofs in the women's camps have collapsed. Let me go to Birkenau. I've never seen it. Go, Spiegelman, and don't come back for all I care. Bah, I give up my best tinsman, and you I saved. Why? So I marched with a few tin men over to Birkenau. I came the first time in summer of 44. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of Hungarians were arriving there at this time. Inside the camp, we called out, maybe somebody knew if our loved ones are here alive. Eva Goldberg from Lodz. Anya Zeibelberg from Sosnowiec. My God, it's Vladek. I'll go get Anya. Don't look up, darling. My guard may spot us. She looked like a skeleton. Did Mancy bring you my letters? Yes. And when she can, she gets me jobs in the kitchen. My friends wait outside, and I bring them scraps. No, save your scraps. What if you lose that job? What if something happens to Mancy? Don't worry about friends. Believe me, they don't worry about you. They just worry about getting a bigger share of your food. But my friends are always hungry, and I don't have much of an appetite. I beg you, Anya, keep yourself strong for my sake. Just seeing you again gives me strength. I have to go before anyone notices I'm missing. I think about you always. I was a few times in Birkenau, and once I had really troubles. I was going from work and passed by Anya. Vladek, Vladek, Vladek! Anya, darling, did you get the food I sent you? Yes, you always arrange miracles. I think about you always. We spoke a minute only, and I went on my way. A guard screamed to me, "Halt! Who are you talking to?" Nobody. A stranger asked if I knew her brothers. A stranger asked if I knew her brothers in Auschwitz. I didn't know anything, so I hardly answered. Get inside. When I'm finished with you, you'll know something, Jewish pimp. You're not here to flirt and gossip. Count the blows. If you lose count, I'll start again. Ein, zwei, drei. So he beat me. What can I tell you? Only thank God Anya didn't get also such a beating. She wouldn't live. The next day it was hard to go work, but to go to hospital, I could easy not come out again. It was a place with medicine, only a place full of prisoners, too sick to go to work. Each day it was skeletons. The doctors chose out the weaker ones to go and die. And the whole camp was skeletons. I went 2 times in front to Dr. Mengele. We stood without anything, straight like a soldier. He glanced and said, "Face left." And they looked to see if it was sores or pimples on the body. Then again, face left. They looked to see if eating no food made you too skinny. Face left. If you had still a healthy body to work, they passed you through and gave you another uniform until it came to the next skeleton. So, dear audience, we're going to take our break here, and we're going to pick it up next time on this page, on page 58. Go to 59 and continue on with this story. Difficult as it is, we'll make it through, and you'll see by the time we finish. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, wait. When first I came, I was very strong. Then came well to the good side. The ones that had not so lucky, the SS wrote down their number and sent to the other side. All right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. This is where we'll pick up. Okay. The bottom of page 58. Very good. All right, guys. So see you next time. And I hope everyone is well. Take care. Bye-bye.